Welcome to Cinemondo with Kathy and Lara. Yay! I brought in
Yay.
Lara because she's my horror expert. We are
Yeah.
cohorts in horror and gore. So, the best person to talk about Terrifier 3 with is you.
Yay.
Let's do it. I know people think, but girls don't like scary movies. Oh, no.
No, we do.
We definitely do. And
We like
we
them
not
a
only
lot.
love them. I mean, Art the Clown. Come on. The
Oh,
best.
I know. He's so good. I know.
So, if you guys have been living under a rock, Terrifier 3 is directed by Damien Leone. Art the Clown is David Howard Thornton. And he brings a whole unique vibe to this kind of slasher genre where he's almost mime. He's silent. There's no dialogue.
He never talks.
I mean, I guess most don't. Like Michael Myers doesn't talk, and
Oh,
Jason
yeah.
doesn't. But they're mime. Like he's having a good time. He's smiling. He's being goofy and cute at the same time that he's just like reaming you, literally.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Not good.
it's
So
so,
I say not good in that it's excellent.
so good.
It's excellent. So the great thing about Terrifier 3 is that it blew up the box office. It did really well. The movie's made for like no money. And that's been the kind of fun backstory on the Terrifier movies. Because they were made for like no money. It's kind of a do-it-yourself, like, hey, let's make a movie. So Terrifier 3 is kind of a cool story because it started off with the super low budget. I think they made it for like $1. It was all kind of do-it-yourself.
Yeah. I mean, they literally had no money.
No money. And then it did so well as a cult film that when they did part 2, Damien Leone, it was like $500,000. It was like still no money. This one was made, I think I read it was $2 million.
$2 million. So, yep.
Big budget for Terrifier, but it's already made over $50 million. So this thing has basically arrived. Like this is where studios start taking notice.
But I almost don't feel like it looks like it was $2 million.
Does not look like it. Well, no. Well, yes and no. But yeah, you're right.
Yes and no.
But that's the charm. You don't want it to look slick. It needs to look like a grindhouse movie that was made for no money. And so technically it was, but yes. It's like, no. But I'm hoping as he's going up the ladder, like Damien Leone, every time he does a Terrifier, he's going up a little bit more money, that he doesn't lose the charm.
Right.
I know people think it's so funny. We talk about the charm of these. The charm of that grindhouse do-it-yourself vibe where it feels like it's shot on film. The effects are practical. It's all on set and camera. Like I love that they're doing it that way. So that's what sets it apart. Because you see stuff like with David Gordon Green doing Halloween.
Yes.
Big budget, terrible.
Yeah.
It lacks soul.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifier 3 has soul. What do you think of Terrifier 3? First impressions.
So, I mean, I liked it. My biggest issues are like the plot, right? But
was there a plot?
That's I think part of it. Like I don't understand it. It's fine.
Yes.
It makes no sense ever. But I don't care. It's because the rest of it is great. The kills are great. The fact that it has like this like Saw vibe.
Yeah.
Like mixed with like Chucky.
Yeah, I can see Chucky. That kind of little bit of humor. Yeah. Yeah.
But I appreciate that, right? Because there's that. It's almost like it gives it that lighthearted.
It does.
Kind of like fun feel. Like he's always, making a joke, but also murdering you at the same time.
It's like he confuses people because he's a clown. He comes in and people aren't sure. And I like that people are reacting to him like he's a creepy clown, but they're kind of like not taking him seriously because he's a clown. He is carrying a creepy bag though. Look out for that.
And like the whole fact that they like moved it to Christmas instead of Halloween was so smart. Like I love that they took it away from like Halloween, right? Because I mean that's kind of the point, right? It doesn't he's not it really kind of has nothing to do with any type of there's no theme to the films, right? It's just kind of like
what is
they tried in the beginning, I think. And then we kind of got away from it, like in the second one, because I did not understand the like angel portion of it, but that's fine. I don't.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. I think it went, which I liked. It went into more of a surreal, dream-like
we got a little
nightmare
sideways.
quality. We weren't even sure if Art was real at that point, but clearly he is because he's back.
Because he's back.
He's back, and the woman he was terrorizing in part 2,
the first time,
continues to tell how she was traumatized over and over again. So,
which is essentially what happened in the first one, right?
Yeah.
Like that the survivors
are
the final girls, right? Kind of keep coming back.
Yeah. The final girls, you can't kill them. That's the whole point of calling them final girls.
I mean, I guess that's right. They're there to, do a thing.
But what I like about this is it kind of went viral because, I mean, ultimately, this movie is an endurance test. You go to it to see how much can you take, because this is such they throw so much at you so fast, and they're going past all kinds of boundaries that you're used to filmmakers pulling back on. And I feel like they kind of tease you a little bit in the beginning when they have him kill the family, and they don't show him actually kill the kid. They cut away and they just show the aftermath, right? So you're thinking, horror never shows them kill kids. Killing kids is a boundary that most horror filmmakers don't do. I saw the only one I've seen lately was that When Evil Lurks. They had a great, very shocking child death that they actually showed, which was like, whoa. And then also Sector 36, which is a great Indian serial killer film, and they actually show some of that. So that was like, whenever they do that, I'm always kind of impressed because it takes nerve to want to cross that line.
Yep. Like super guts to even the pregnant lady in When Evil Lurks was like real tough. And I was like, oh God.
So what I liked in this is we had not only Art the Clown, which is already hilarious, and he's so funny, he's so great. That mime act is amazing. Is that they put him in the Santa outfit, so he looks even creepier.
It's so bad.
He's a clown with Santa, and he actually takes he peels off a real Santa beard off a person and puts it on, which is hilarious.
Bad.
I loved him as the Santa with the kids. Like, it was just so perverse. I was like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, what are you doing?
I know.
I was like waiting for like the gifts to come out, like I don't know. It was
so much. So, but one of there's a few highlight scenes, and one is I thought the bar scene was amazing because we had those great cameos. We had like Daniel Roebuck. A lot of people won't even know who these people are. Clint Howard. So you kind of have these kind of cameos from like Rob Zombie movies and some other horror movies. And so it was kind of cool. They don't make a big thing out of it. They're just in the bar, these grizzled guys in the bar. They don't. So I love that they did that. And he kind of comes in and they're like, what the hell's with this guy? What's up? And they kind of are getting along with him. Like, yeah, let's all drink. And they're having a good time. And then it takes a turn.
And
a really bad turn.
And then they die. You're like,
because if Art's in the room, there will be carnage.
Right. Like it doesn't matter. And I think that's always what's interesting, right? Like, but previously it was never, he could leave somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But someone would always die. This time that did not happen. Like if he was in a spot, someone was going, like multiple people were dying.
That was the promise they made us as film fans, is Art will kill everyone who moves. So that's the idea.
And that there was like this, like he didn't have like the sidekick story this time, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was interesting. It was kind of like he had like a mirror, kind of like, I guess like a twin almost, like someone who's kind of egging him on and along with him. And I wasn't even sure how real that character was. And it was, I was watching it. I wasn't, it seemed like it came out of the nightmare portion, but that character was fine and all, but I only have eyes for Art. It's like, I'm like, whatever. Don't even confuse me with these extra people.
With everything
I
else.
only care about Art. So I love that. And then the other scene, of course, which I could not believe my eyes. And the audience was, I think it's so funny how horror fans react, because everybody's like, oh, the people are throwing up and fainting. No, they're not. No, people are flipping out and loving it. So I was watching the shower scene, the infamous shower scene.
Yes.
Couldn't believe my eyes. Okay, so it's like, oh my God, chainsaws in orifices, we'll just say. And they do not, the camera does not go away. You get to see the whole thing.
all of it.
Practical.
It was very tough. Yeah. There was a lot of it.
I mean, and it kept going. Like you kept expecting them to cut and they would not cut. And so everybody was just cheering in the audience I was in. They were like, wow. And instead of being completely sort of grossed out, I felt very energized and like, holy shit, I cannot believe they pulled this off.
Well,
I can't believe it.
I mean, he's just taking everything to the next level, right? Like, so you're watching it and you're like, okay.
You kind of went a little far on this one. Okay, right? You went a little far on this one.
Feels more of like where like foreign films, right? Like French films tend to go a little too far typically.
Yeah, like Martyrs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so I like I like that. Like I like that they're pushing like on an American side.
Yes.
We're starting to do that, but like not in a bad way. not in a bad way.
I mean, you know, so
I mean, it's not great.
so as the movie goes on, you know, we do end up seeing children actually being killed, which they kind of teach.
It is what it is.
I'm fine. No, I'm fine with this. Fine. It's like they're crossing borders. They're going through boundaries.
It's fine.
Blowing through all the safe zones that horror movies sometimes have in place. Mm-hmm. But by the end of it, I was so bombarded. Like I was starting to feel like, what? Mm-hmm. Like how I felt saturated in like gore and violence and just And by the end, you know, you're with your characters you kind of care about. I mean, I don't really care about them, but they're the most you can care about any characters. You know, the woman, the survivor. You know, but so they have like an extended kind of torture scene, and you know, again, it's hilarious because there's Christmas stuff everywhere, and it was basically like a friend of mine said, this is basically a Hallmark movie turned inside out. I'm like, you're kind of right, because it's a Hallmark movie that Art the Clown is now in, and you know how that's going to end. So, I love that.
That's actually a really smart like pickup. Like I never even would have thought of that.
So funny. Like, I know. I love that. It's like we have all these attributes of like the perfect Christmas. Like all the houses were decorated, the bar was decorated. We're using the reds and the greens, and we have the classic tropes of, you know, sitting on Santa's lap, getting presents. We have all of these things that then are turned into a horror movie times 100.
And then it's just like massacred. But like even Christmas horror movies or horror movies set in like during Christmas are not as gruesome.
Nothing's as gruesome as this. I can't think of anything more gruesome than this.
Insane, right? Like, at all. Even Halloween themed films are not this like intense, right?
No.
So, I mean, he's doing a great job. I think it's fun. I don't think that I want to see another Christmas.
Oh no, I don't think they'll stay in Christmas
version of this, but.
St. Patty's Day?
Yeah, right? Like pick another
Valentine's Day.
Oh.
You can rip out hearts over and over again.
Oh, that would be really fun.
I'd like to see that. Art with hearts. He collects a bag of hearts. I'm writing the script right now. I'll talk to Damien Leone after this and tell him my ideas.
Can you please? This week.
So a few shout outs to Chris Tinsley, who did a lot of the practical effects, and he did, you know, the art mask and all that. Yes. He did such a great job. The character design on this is amazing. I love that they can come out of nowhere in the saturated horror market with millions of different slashers and actually break through like this. It's just such a great idea. And then to take this and put Art the Clown in Christmas was just a stroke of genius. The timing was perfect. They hit the box office exactly the right time, unrated. And that was where you knew. That's what you do. And what's so funny about this, usually unrated movies don't do that well because you can't do some of the advertising because it's unrated.
Right.
And then I heard
everywhere.
Kids couldn't get into it. Like they were. And so they were buying tickets to Wild Robot and the kids were sneaking into Terrifier 3. And then the parents were probably wondering why their kids were so disturbed later after they got home. So I don't know what's happening there. I love that. So funny. So I love that idea. It's so cute. But I love that here's this little tiny movie. It comes out of nowhere and it kills it. It's like dominating. It beat the Joker on the first
Which is insane.
Crazy.
Because, I mean, that movie was just nuts too.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And everybody said it wasn't good. And it's like, well, then whatever. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean,
It
I
wasn't
think everybody just
terrible.
had their ideas. They didn't want it to be a musical. They didn't want it to be a fantasy. They, there's a lot of
Well,
things people expect.
they
So,
wanted it to be what it was before, and it just isn't.
and it was, and then it wasn't. So,
Right.
I mean, they didn't move the plot forward very far. It was like in
No.
court telling the story in different ways. Like, okay, well, we
Yeah.
don't
You
really
like
want to
that.
see him in court. We want to see him out there doing shit. Just
Out
like
there.
Art the Clown. He needs to
Right.
be out there doing shit.
And that's what he's doing.
He's out there. He's doing shit.
And
So
I
I love this movie. I thought it was completely off the rails.
Same.
I appreciated the creativity, even though I felt like I had been beat up afterwards.
oh
And
yeah,
it took me a
was
day to
like-
get over it. But I still loved it. A friend of mine said, I kept saying, like, I was at a meeting and they said, what are you proud of that you did last week? And I'm like, proud I survived Terrifier 3. And they were like, all right,
What?
well, what? And so then later goes, what did you mean? I'm like, I mean, this endurance contest that this movie is called Terrifier 3
like,
to see
you
how
understand.
long can you last watching this movie.
Oh my gosh. And like I know people who watched like the first two back to back and then watched that one or like went to go see it. I'm like, ooh, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And like, are you desensitized? Because by the end of it, I was so
You
separated.
have
I
to
felt
be.
kind of numb, right? Like, I've seen too much.
It was like too much.
It's
and,
too
like-
much.
And the thing is, it's interesting that no point during this was I like, when is this over? Like,
Yeah.
I kind of thought that was interesting because that tends to happen, right? Like,
Yes.
there are movies where you get to that point where you're seeing the same thing over and over and it's getting to be too much. And you just want it to, like, okay, speed it up, get to the point. We know this needs to end. When is this going to happen? But you never really felt that. It was just like,
No.
it went along, you were fine, and then it was over and you were like, I need to take a shower and be in bright lights for the next 4 days, and this is
Exactly.
great. But
Exactly. Watch Hallmark movies for 6
Yep.
weeks. I know. But that's what we love is the fact that we
Fine.
as horror fans who have seen literally everything
Yes.
just saw something we had never seen before. And that is why I love this movie, because it showed me something new while making it feel new, like old and retro and cool, but yet so
So good.
groundbreaking on so many levels. So
Mhm.
highly recommend if you are a little bit more advanced in horror, because if you're, I like The Conjuring, you will do not watch this movie. You will never recover. It will just,
Mm-mm.
I recommend Terrifier 1, 2, and 3 because I think the progression is fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think there's a scene in every one of them that you feel like, I never want to see that again. I wish I
Yep.
didn't have it in my head. And yet
Mhm.
there it is. And they top it every time. So there's something to be said, even though I know it's just like, he's just trying to top himself. Fine. Let him top
That's
himself. I'm all for it. Bring it on.
Let me
Fine with
forget
me.
it. Let me forget it was something else.
Exactly.
Cool.
And I loved the blood snow angel idea. That was
one of
genius.
my favorite parts.
I love that. So that pretty much sums it up. Taking Christmas and just painting it red. And you're just like,
It was
loving
so great.
every minute of it. I know.
Yeah.
And I love Christmas horror movies. So this one was like,
This was great.
right at the top.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you, Lara, for coming in and
Yeah,
talking about
love
Terrifier
that.
3. Literally, I know no one else I can talk to about it. No one wants to see it. They're afraid.
I will always see. I will always
know.
watch them. Can't wait
We
for the
always
fourth
want to
one.
see this. Let us know your thoughts about the Terrifier movies and Terrifier 3. What was your favorite scene? What was the scene you would think went too far? Because it probably did, but that's
It
okay,
did.
right? So it's fine.
That was fun.
All right. Talk to you sickos later.
Bye.